Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Around the JFL podcast. This is the first episode that we've ever done of this. We're going to just, talk about everything around the league, a lot of various topics, get into the deep corners of the entire league, really around. We got some fellas here, some managers, the JFL Council, and this episode will also kind of serve as like a time capsule to look back at where the league was at this point in time, which we are right before the season 6 draft. It is in 2 days. We just finished season 5. And yeah, we're going to talk about a few topics, which starting off, we're going to talk about the end and wrap up of season 5, which had a very interesting set of new things going on because we had an expansion, 4 new teams, a division realignment, and a new playoff team. We had 7 playoff teams instead of 6, and we had some interesting playoff battles. We had 2 playoff teams that didn't have a single All-Pro: the Kingfishers and the Cobras, who were an expansion team. And funny enough, all four of our teams made the semifinals: the Corsairs, Salamanders, Rhinos, and Sabers, which that was pretty interesting. We obviously had the Jupiter Bowl between the Salamanders and the Corsairs, 40-26 win by my Corsairs. Pretty neat stuff. But yeah, let's talk about those playoff races a little bit. Starting off with Mackay and the Rhino. Had a very tight race between the Kingfishers, Towers, and Rhinos. If you want to take it away.
Yeah, John. Following the division realignment, I kind of, in the most humble way possible, I thought I looked at our competition and our new division, and I thought, I mean, no team's truly a bottom feeder. You know what I mean? And so looking at like the Kingfishers and the Hoplites, I was like, man, this is gonna be an easy win for us. We're gonna finish on top of the division. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be golden. It was not that actually. It was a pit fight to the very end, which is weird because we did sweep the division too. So it was like a proxy pit fight, hurling insults at each other. But yeah, we did go the furthest in our division, so that's really all that matters. But yeah, I'm super excited to keep going at these guys. Have an intense rivalry with the Towers, and the other guys in our division too. But yeah, I'm just really proud of my rookies. I'm really proud of my quarterback. I'm really proud of my defense. I'm really proud of everybody. But we're hoping to reload and go a little further this time.
Yeah, you had a really good rookie class with quarterback Draymond Daniels, who was excellent, a big part of why you were so successful, as well as
Double
Donnell
D.
Bryan. Donnell Bryan on the D line. Big named rookies that, going into year 2. Segment later, we'll talk about that. In other parts of the league, we had a pretty good race between my team and the Paladins. The Paladins started off 4-0, and were looking like they were going to take the 1 seed again after just winning their second Jupiter Bowl. But then they kind of fell like stagnant and finished as the 2 seed, with the Corsairs finishing the 1 seed, pretty dominant in the Golden West. With the Corsairs able to pull out the division win. Over in the East, with the division realignment, the Leopards, who were runner-up in Jupiter Bowl 4 to the Paladins by 1 point, they had to race with the Salamanders, with Brady over here, if you want to talk about that playoff race.
In that season 4 Jupiter Bowl that the Leopards made it, they ended up beating me to advance to the Jupiter Bowl, which I wasn't super happy about, but stuff happens. And the Salamanders kind of had an interesting start to the season. I started off pretty well. Then middle chunk of the season, I lost 3 straight to the Paladins, Corsairs, and Sabers. Put me in a real bad spot, and I was not predicted to even make the playoffs, but Salamanders defense turned up and kind of carried my way to the playoffs. Ended up getting just enough point differential to beat the Leopards out to sneak in.
Yeah, all the right players kicked back on at the right time to really look kind of like the season 3 Salamanders again, which did propel them to the Jupiter Bowl against the Corsairs.
Which
And
Tucker Borston didn't have a single sack in the first 3 weeks and ended
that's
up
very
leading
true.
the league in sacks again.
All 4 of the first seasons of the JFL, Tucker Borston led the league in sacks, either tied or by himself. In season 5, he didn't have a sack for the first 3 weeks, And we're like, oh, we're finally gonna see a different sack leader, which Derek Macon, who tied with him a season before, was on like a record pace. And then he fell off, and Tucker Borston kicked on, and we have 5 straight seasons of Tucker Borston leading the league in sacks. That is the greatest player of all time as of 5 seasons.
It's absolutely crazy
In other
to
parts of the
watch
league,
that.
in the North, we had kind of a playoff race. The Sabres started off 0-3, right?
Yeah, we started 0-3, and it was honestly such a battle the entire time, and I don't think we saw even anyone pulling away the entire time. So, Sabres started 0-3, falling to first the Emperors, which was not expected at all, and then turned around against trying to remember who. Oh, the Griffins, which should not have been a loss at all either. And then we played the Corsairs in week 3, and I was like, this is not going to be good. But every single game was literally one score games for the Sabres, all the way until week 8, mind you. Um, but somehow week 4 with the Salamanders are at their lowest point. Um, and Sabres are honestly at their lowest. Hold on, Brad. Sabres are honestly also at their lowest point right here. We just lost 3 straight. But you lost to really good teams. We lost the Emperor's Griffins, which should not have happened. Somehow found a way to turn it back around, and we went winless the rest of the season afterwards. Um,
Or
and
undefeated.
undefeated, yes. Sorry, winless. No, we went undefeated.
And
For, 0-8 made the playoffs. We went undefeated. We went undefeated for the rest of the season. Um, and absolutely stunner of a backstretch. And it was really a race all the way until the end of week 6 between the Emperors, Direwolves, and Sabres, all competing very closely with the same record and pretty close in point differential until somehow both Emperors and Direwolves both lost in the divisional round to both myself and the Glaciers. And that really boosted the Sabres to clinching that spot to where the Direwolves went into almost a tank mode for a week, and the Emperors were just holding on to just maybe for pride, but it was really tight the backstretch. And even then in the playoffs, I played all seasonal rematches the entire way through. I played the Cobras and the Salamanders, who had played earlier in the season. Um, Cobras, I was the only team to beat Cobras outside of their division. Um, During the regular season. Now they may have had an easier schedule as the first time expansion team, but that was very much a tense rematch, especially at Tuver. Um, but yeah, it was an electric race all the way through the north. Honestly, the entire season.
How'd that rematch
Yeah,
of the Salamanders go for you?
It didn't go well. We got clapped. The defense was not looking their normal self when we played them in week 4. They were looking their normal selves in the semifinals, and that for sure hit the Sabres pretty hard. It was still a competitive game, but it wasn't exactly it wasn't a one score game, that's for sure.
It's okay. I redeemed the Sabres in the Jupiter Bowl.
And
But
let's talk about that race in the West for a second. The Corsairs opened in prime time against the Paladins, the former Jupiter Bowl winners from season 4. They lose, but in a very close game,
barely,
four
barely.
points by 4, 31-27 Paladins, and then the Corsairs go undefeated the rest of the season, going 9-1 in 10 games played.
To the Jupiter Bowl, yeah. Ridiculous stretch for the Corsairs. Kind of scary. I don't see that ever replicating for my team. I think that was a pretty magical, just everything coming together at the right time. All of my players played well. My old veterans who are kind of, on the back end of their career, like DeMarcus Moore-Eiling, had their best career seasons. Everything just clicked, and it was pretty dominant run to get that Jupiter Bowl for my guys. It was pretty cool to see, but
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was a crazy, crazy playoff races all across the league. And
Do we want to
yeah,
talk about the
some more
South as well, since there's no one here to represent them?
touch on it real quick. The South, was won by the Cobras, which are an expansion team. The Lancers should by far and away have a free win there, but their incompetency has been very apparent recently, and they couldn't even compete for it. And The Jackals and Tyrants both finished with 1 win. So the worst division by far. The Cobras had a really easy schedule and an adequate team to kind of cakewalk to the division win, but then got bounced in the first round. But it'll be interesting to see next season who wins that division because it's going to be a fight, I think, which we will talk about in a later segment.
I do want to touch on one more thing before we leave this segment. Is we thought that there's a real chance of there being the first undefeated team this season. That being either the Towers or the Paladins.
Yeah, I mean
the Paladins
Tower.
were the last one. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the touch on the Towers, they had built the no-fly zone going into season 4, mostly through trades and then also trading up to the first spot to grab Ricard Reese. I know we all have opinions on those trades. I do too. But they did build an insane DB squad, and that carried them through so many games. And then they added to it in the season 5 draft. I don't think they hit as much in season 5 draft, and I think that's why we didn't see their success as much this season because they faced a harder schedule. But I think they're definitely a scary team going in if those rookies panned out. But then they just couldn't get much going on offense, leading to them missing the playoffs even.
Yeah, a combination of a lack of a run game and a young, inexperienced talent. They traded for Niall Dron from the Paladins, their backup quarterback since season 1, to be their new starter. And he actually did really well once stepping in. But the lack of experience there, lack of a run game, an aging Tanner Beauplan, and then, rookie pieces like Dante Okada coming in. I think they're going to be a lot better going into the next season. And then the Paladins. The Paladins were the last undefeated team, starting 4-0 before dropping a game, and then they actually ended up losing 2 to finish as the 2 seed. But yeah, we really did thought we were going to see the first undefeated team, which did not happen. The Paladins actually lost to the Lancers, which is absurd. And then the very next week, the Lancers lost to the Jackals, who were the last winless team, which we thought we were also going to see that happen. But yeah, that sums up the Lancers right now completely. Like, that is the definition of what the Lancers are right now. Ridiculous. To wrap up season 5, I just want to talk about the award winners. They deserve some recognition. We obviously had Grady Burke won MVP. Ernie Gecko won his second Offensive Player of the Year award. Ricard Reese on a crazy, ridiculous 3-year stretch from a DB. He went from his last season in college winning the Jiesman, won Defensive Rookie of the Year in his first year in the league, and then Defensive Player of the Year his second year in the league.
I mean, Brad, he's still a good player, whether you hate the Towers or not. I mean, like, Reese is still kind of insane.
So good.
I don't want to call it, like, an
best...
expert pick because it was the top DB.
Overall.
It was second overall
pick.
It was a no-brainer because the Leopards traded up because they really wanted Curtis Rhymes at the D-line position. And Owen had the first-round pick, and he just traded from the first to the second because he threatened that he would take Curtis Rhymes to get more picks out of Tony, honestly. But
yeah,
Curtis Rhymes was the Jiesman winner. He should have gone number 1 overall. And so even though he didn't and he still went second, it was a no-brainer move. And so, like, even though you can't deny he's a stud of a player.
Oh yeah, no, he's an absolute stud, but I just no.
Have some bias.
Not a fan of that.
Swamp versus no fly zone. But yeah, between Ricard Reese and King Salazar, deciding who's the greatest DB of all time. Well, they're teammates.
Yeah, that's really hard now. It makes it even harder because now they're instead of like one of them trying to play like we're trying to balance like who's got the easier schedule. Now it's like who's getting more opportunities like versus who's on the 1 and who's on the 2.
Yeah, who guards the number 1?
Like it's so strange, and they both just put up like 8+ interceptions in the season. Like they both average at least one a season.
That was
one per game.
DeLewis Dather and Ricard Reese. This last season had over Ricard Reese with 10. I think DeLewis Dather had 9. And then King Salazar had a lesser season. He had like 6 or 7.
It's 6.
A lesser season is still like
for himself.
For like any other team in the league is like that's absolutely number 1 DB.
Moving forward, we have Rayshawn Calipari won Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Centuries, an incredible, bright season, bright future. The
Ridiculous.
Admirals of the other expansion team had Defensive Rookie of the Year, Barik Bey, the DB, just annihilator, just the enforcer, Barik Bey. Um, whose career did he end? Eddie Ladd.
Oh,
He ended Eddie Ladd's career with a hit earlier in the
was it
season.
Eddie Ladd?
It's kind of
Really?
nice to see. I think it was Eddie Ladd, yeah.
Damn, former
And
Saber.
the it's nice to see the expansion teams have the two rookies of the year, because
I
it's bright for their
agree.
futures. Mackay here won Manager of the Year, taking his team to their second playoffs with an excellent draft. And Tony Madge of the Leopards won Contributor of the Year. So a nice season. Season 5 was pretty great. Capping off with the Jupiter Bowl between the Corsairs and the Salamanders, which I dove into. They have a very interesting relationship between the Corsairs and the Salamanders. They face each other almost every season, and every time it's almost an instant classic. Obviously, in the Jupiter Bowl, they played each other 40-26. The Corsairs won, but they go back and forth. In the season 3 season, when the Salamanders won the Jupiter Bowl, they bounced the Corsairs in the semifinals in a very close, tight game. And earlier that season, in the regular season, was probably the best game ever played between the two. They go back and forth. In that season, Jack Malley won MVP with his ridiculous 30 touchdowns to 1 interception. That 1 interception was thrown to the Corsairs, to Scotty Dorn. And then again in the playoffs, Scotty Dorn was who intercepted Jack Malley. Just crazy dynamics to their relationship between these teams, because even deeper in the season 2 draft, two cornerstones of these franchises, Olive Russi and tight end Mitch Shelvin, were drafted with each other's draft picks. Um, Olive Russi was taken in the first round with the Corsairs' first round pick that was traded there, and Mitch Shelvin was taken with the Salamanders pick in the second. Pretty interesting dynamic between those two teams, and it's always fun to see them play. And let's cap off season 5, and let's move forward. I've got a pretty interesting topic I want to talk about, and let's make the Mount Rushmore of every position of the JFL through 5 seasons. And start off with quarterback. I think it's pretty easy to get the top 2, 3, which Tiber Jericho, Jack Malley. Anybody have any qualms with that?
I don't. I think quarterback is honestly the easiest one. I think all four of the guys we're probably gonna say are absolutely deserve to be there to some degree. Or sorry, to some degree, they all deserve to be there, frankly. And experience plays a large part in it. So any new and upcoming guys, they might not be as qualified because they haven't been around as long. But so experience is the best factor for a lot of these. So long stints as starters and good long careers.
Yeah, Makai, what do you think?
I think number 3 on that position is Randall Corlin.
Really?
I think as a dual threat that he's had, even with maybe not the super high passing stats, he's outrushed many like starting running backs before by himself, while also having Danny Crudgeon, all pro and MVP running back. So like that ground attack, that there's so many DB or MVP winners in the backfield of that line on that team that it's hard to take Corlin off of that mountain. Even if he doesn't look like the traditional QB, he does so much for his team that it's almost hard not to put him up there.
The
It is kind of
piggyback.
hard though. I think the third spot has to go to Grady Burke. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but Grady Burke just won MVP, just won a Jupiter Bowl, and he's made 2 All Pros. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. He's much more decorated than Randall Corlin is. Randall Corlin has 1 All Pro season 1 Jupiter Bowl MVP season 1, and other than that has no real awards. So there is kind of a debate there, whether to put. Can we all agree Grady Burke's on the Mount Rushmore?
I think
Down to Rushmore.
I think he deserves to be up there, even though he's only been in the league for 3 seasons. He's definitely accomplished a lot since he's gotten in here.
So Grady Burke, Tiber, Jack Malley, and then I think the 4 spot to debate between Randall Corland and then I would say Ruth Legane.
I think my money's got to go to Corlin just from how big of a dual threat he is and how much he's done for the Paladins. I mean, they have been the the franchise that we thought was going to make the first dynasty this season. And they nearly did. They had the second seed and just got bounced. Somehow, Rhinos, Pokork, Hero bounced them in the quarters. But we all thought the Paladins were still gonna make it back to Jupiter Bowl, even at the 2 seed, and do it again. All the way up until they
They
got
did do
bounced.
that. They did that with Randall Corland being one of the least prolific passers in the entire league. I think he was like bottom in passing yards, which it wasn't because he was playing bad. They just didn't throw the ball enough.
And
Which
as much as I would want to put Ruth Legane up there, what accolades does he have compared to Randall?
Well, that's the thing. Ruth Legane is a 2-time All-Pro compared to Randall's one. Obviously, he doesn't have the Jupiter Bowl wins, but Ruth Legane is ahead of Randall Corland in pretty much every career stat and statistic. Um, I think he has better averages. He has more yards, more touchdowns, and the extra All-Pro, which gives him the edge for me with less weapons. Okay, less weapons is a stretch because he does have Ricky Tootin to throw to, obviously, and Carnell Pierce, and he has a good receiving core, but Randall Corland has the best running game in the league to complement him, as well as a former All-Pro tight end, and then Garrett Breida, the best receiver alive. But the debate there is kind of iffy because the Leopards also have a really good set of weapons. I would give the edge to Ruth Legane, but what's everyone's vote?
What about you, Makai? I know you've been answering away in on this.
Well, are we talking about the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks or Mount Rushmore of passers? Because I think, I mean,
Quarterbacks.
exactly. So I think, obviously the Paladins have a better supporting cast. Like that's just matter of fact. But I mean, at the end of the day, you either win a game or you lose a game. You know, Randall Corlin has more career wins than Ruth Legane. He has 2 rings. How many does Ruth have?
0. Got a
Randall
wins
Corlin
as a
has
QB
one
stat
Super Bowl
guy here.
MVP. How many does Ruth Legane have? I don't know. I think it's just obviously he had a down year this season, correct? I don't know. I'm not up to. I shouldn't. I feel kind of hypocritical going into this debate, or debating this while not having the exact stats. Like, say, if I was Tristan, he's on top of that stuff.
I just have
But
a
I
lot of
mean,
tabs.
it's just hard for me to sit here and leave Randall off and put Ruth up there. I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I think one thing to compliment what you're saying is what's the job of a quarterback?
To win a
To
game,
to command the offense to win a game, and Randall has proven to be really good at doing that. He's won 2 Jupiter Bowls. Yes, Ruth may be a better passer, but in terms of like a pure quarterback, I think Randall gets the edge.
So we're giving it to Randall. So our Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks is Tiber Jericho, Jack Malley, Grady Burke, and Randall Corland, snubbing Ruth Legane.
I
Now
don't
let's
Do
talk
think
about
that
running
I do
backs.
think Ruth is the 5th spot. Like if there are 5 faces up there, Ruth Legane is absolutely on the mountain.
For sure.
But I think with just how dominant the Paladins are, I think he just doesn't have to pass the ball as much and get as many yards just because they don't need him. So I think there is a point to be said that they're so efficient that they don't like every time they touch the ball, they're almost always scoring to the point where they're not wasting yards, whereas some other teams might have like a drive that goes empty. So I think the Paladins are just more efficient, so it looks like they have worse stats, but in reality they're just scoring more.
And
I
I will
think the
say, I could see this next season the Paladins unlocking their pass game a little more, and Randall Corland making a surge to make another All Pro and add more accolades on.
I do think that Tiber Jericho is the most susceptible to being knocked off, sadly.
2-time MVP. That's a
That's a
bold
hard
take.
in 5 seasons. 2 MVPs is like
But that's like all he has other than all pros
He's made it to the.
appearance
and a few
and a
passing
ton
record.
of.
he's made 4 they've made
Oh.
4 playoff appearances and a Super Bowl appearance. They certainly
Like,
have
I
way more
think-
accolades than Leopards.
I just think that Tiber's Super Bowl window is slowly getting tighter, and with
Yeah,
the
but I think
talent,
as long as Tiber is playing, he has an open window. It's Tiber Jericho.
how long is
But
he?
anyway,
Gonna,
we need to move forward. We're spending too much time on quarterbacks. So let's talk about the running back Mount Rushmore, which I'm just going to say the 2 obvious ones. Ernie Gecko, 5-time All-Pro, 2-time Offensive Player of
Montgomery.
the Year.
Kyle Montgomery.
Danny Krujin, MVP. That's 2.
Yeah.
Kyle
Who
Montgomery.
are we putting? 3 and 4 is tough.
The
I think
journeyman.
Icy
Bro,
You want to put I think Icy makes sense. Icy's been he's been an underdog too, kind of. He was the bottom of his running back class, if I remember correctly, from season 1.
Yep, season
Drafted
1.
by the Corsairs, name alone, and now he leads the league, or he's at the top of the league board every season.
He does have an Offensive Player of the Year award. He was on the cover of Jadden 4. And yeah, I think Icy has enough accomplished compared to the other guys to be in that 3 spot. For the 4 spot, who are even our candidates?
I have no clue, frankly. It gets hard because
Tanner Bow playing.
it changes really. It changes a lot. I mean, Alan Galvin was really good, had a stretch. Season 5, he's a little down, but he's still a productive back. It's hard. There's so many good good guys that really deserve to be up there. But it is such a jump from like top 3 to like down to 4.
If we go to pure accolades, we have Alan Galvin with 2 All-Pros. We have Ray Bold with 1. We have Reed Derby with 1.
Ray Bold is fraudulent.
And it's really tough. Makai, you want to make a case for Alan Galvin? Why should he be the 4 spot?
Well, if we're looking at just pure all-pro selections and relevancy, Alan Galvin was the heart and soul of the Rhinos offense, season 2, 3, and parts of 4. Or most of season 4. And I mean, besides season 5, where he had a significant decline alongside his other guy Rick Smothers, he had more rushing yards, he had more rushing touchdowns each season. And I think despite his lackluster season 5, he would improve any team that he has put on right now. Still, name a team where he could say you have say you're not replacing Icy, Danny, or Ernie. What team would he make worse by being their running back 1?
I'm not sure. Him and Reed would kind of go pretty even. But like it's still close to the point where like the Sabres wouldn't decline, I would say. Allen would still
There's a few teams.
be about even.
There's a few running back ones that I would take right now over Alan Galvin, but they haven't accomplished more than Alan Galvin in there simply because they haven't played long enough. Like I would rather have Rayshon Calvary, Reed Derby, Ray Bold, maybe even Curtis Sampson right now.
Yeah.
And
youth does also sometimes play a fact into it. Allen was from season 2, Reed was season 4, Rayshon was season 5. So like if you're trying to like, oh, I want this guy on my team today and I want to keep him around, like that does play a little bit into it. I think Allen does, as much as I love my own guy, Reed Derby, I think Allen probably does, just from being in the league as long and having a few more accolades.
Mount Rushmore, we're talking about greatness. We're talking about what has been accomplished. I think it has to go to Allen.
It's Galvin.
Yeah, I agree.
No
right,
bias.
There we go. We have
Galvin too.
Gecko, Krujin, Dantzler, and Galvin. Now we have a fun
Kyle
one.
Montgomery.
Honorable mention for being the journeyman of the league. Hopefully, at some point, we'll complete his tour around the league.
Yep.
He's at like 13 teams right now.
It's so close. He could get
Wide
it.
receiver.
He could get it in
just
one
played
season.
He just played a full season for one team, which is crazy. But
Mhm.
anyway,
Wide receivers.
wide receivers. I think, obviously has to be included Gary Breida. Gary Breida's on there.
Yeah, I get
100%.
Now,
100%.
Ricky
Lance
Toon
their entire draft for that guy.
could have been
It
a
worked. It worked.
But all right.
Could have been a rhino.
Ricky too.
um, Ricky Toon in the two.
Ricky Toon probably
All-time
deserves to be
leader in
up there.
receiving yards.
Yeah. Mason Mountain, maybe? I know he's got Tiber Jericho throwing to him, but, like, you can't argue with production.
It's
Go
such
ahead,
a
Brad.
hard.
Go.
Who do we leave off?
It really is, like, who do you leave off in this scenario?
And so we've got Breida and Toon. I think
Soren Kelsey, does he still not talk? We not talk about that guy anymore?
Kelsey, Vermil, Mountain.
I think those are the
Those
ones we
are
got
the
to talk
three.
about. Now, Soren Kelsey changed quarterbacks, and he had one of the best wide receiver seasons in season 3, and he had a little bit of dip in production after in season 4, and even in season 5 a little bit, but he was getting less targets and in a more talented room, and I think he might have just had a little bit of a short prime, but I think that dominance and that accolade of what he did puts him at least in the conversation to be in at 4.
He was best receiver in season 3 in that crazy season where we had 4 different wide receivers put up 1,000 yards, but it's just he fell off shortly after, significantly more than the others did. Mason Mountain is still finishing top 2 and 3 or leading the league in receiving yards. Andre Vermil just made another All-Pro. I think Kelsey's the one you leave off here.
Unfortunately. I mean, Mason Mountain, out of the top 19 seasons, he owns 3 of them, and 2 of those are 1,000+ receiving. 1 in season 1 and 1 in season 4, which means he hasn't fallen off.
Season 4, he was the leading receiver. The only person with more yards than him was Wes Bowen by a yard, and he's a tight end, which is just...
Which is another story to begin with. We'll get there in a minute.
I think Mason Mountain goes on, and then it's between Kelsey and Vermil, and I think Vermil has more accomplished. If you look at all-time career receiving rankings through 5 seasons, Vermil is significantly ahead of Kelsey by about 160 yards. Kelsey is 5th, and the other 4 we've mentioned are ahead of him. Gary Breida is ahead of him with a less season played, which is crazy.
It's hard to say,
So
though,
I
just
think-
because, like, with only 160, like, in reality, with, like, any of these top QBs, that's one game.
Yeah.
Different.
I was gonna say,
so.
like, where?
Yeah,
What if you changed up
all with it.
quarterbacks season before?
Okay, well, still, that's a metric.
Yeah, I know.
Vermil's ahead in that. He's ahead in all pros, and
As much as I want to fight for him, I think he does.
I'm
need
voting
to
for
be
Vermil.
off.
If you're voting for Kelsey, what does
No,
Mikhail, what do you have to say?
I'll go for Vermil. I think Kelsey does have to be the first one off.
I think
What do you say,
Vermil. Go ahead.
How many more All Pros does Vermil have compared to Kelsey?
1.
Okay, Vermil is better.
I think it does have to go to Vermil, but it's not by much. It's very close. Like, again, it's almost kind of like the Corlin versus Legane debate. It's real close. Like, if there's 5, Kelsey's absolutely up there.
All right, so we've got Ricky Toon, Mason Mountain, Gary Breida, and Andre Vermil. We've got a Corsair in all 3 positions. All right,
What?
Starting to look like the season 5, like the season 5 awards, where the Corsairs
season 5
notably
All-Pro.
had a
Had
player in every All-Pro
every
position.
Except for
Sides kick.
Chuck Hyatt is good, though. Anyway,
Not like the season 3 salamander.
Icy
Tight
fish.
end. Tight end.
West
Number
Bowen.
1,
West
West
Bowen.
Bowen.
Easy. That's the easiest decision we're gonna make all day.
So easy. 2,
Vance Hodges.
Vance Hodges,
I think Vance
Sheldon,
Hodges, honestly.
Vance Hodges. Vance Hodges. I
When
think
he was with
Mitch
Sammy
Sheldon.
Akers, for sure. Even though he's not with Sammy
Hank,
anymore, I think he's still love. I think Vance is still so high up there.
Vance is a good player. I think he's 2-time All Pro. I think Vance should be on here. Um, Mitch Shelvin's a 2-time All Pro. Um, Jeremy Risen
What
is a
about that
2-time All Pro. Those are the 4 2-time All Pro tight ends. I think.
It could just be that simple.
I want to fight for Gus Concrete, but he's not a pass catcher. He's more of a gritty guy, and he doesn't have
I don't
all
think
pro.
Gus Concrete's even in the top 8.
It is
Yeah,
hard
I
to
know.
talk about passing versus blocking tight ends because you don't see the statistic for blocking as much, but considering Samson's unfortunately not towards the top for rushing, I don't think we can consider Gus a huge impact enough to put him on the mountain to that point.
I was gonna say, as
so.
much as I want to fight for him, he doesn't have any
Yeah.
accolades.
Now, if Samson or any Salamanders running back was at the top of the chart and it was after Concrete came into the picture for the Salamanders, I would say this guy made a huge impact versus right now it's the entire offense outside of the wide receivers is built around the run game, including the tight ends. And even has a fullback to the point where he's getting so much help. You don't know who's making the difference. So, I do think it's got to go to receivers almost, just because it's hard to know how those blocking tight ends play a picture into the
It's a
game.
lot easier to find a decent, adequate tight end that can block. A truly great tight end is going to be able to do both, or at least be a significant weapon in the receiving game.
Yeah.
Makai, you have any takes?
No.
Oh. So are we settling on all the 2-time All Pros? Wes Bowen, Mitch Shelvin, Vance Hodges, and Jeremy Risen.
Yep.
It might
Simple.
just be that simple. Yeah.
I think it's simple. I think that's it. I think Heath Stafford could sneak on there very quickly, but he was a rookie last season, so you can't really do that yet.
And he
That
was
is
like
our
the offensive weapon.
Nikki Stafford in the
Of course,
podcast.
there. But that is our tight end Mount Rushmore. Let's get into the defense for D line.
Okay, I got this one. I can do this by myself. We
Okay.
got
Okay.
Tucker Borston, his left bicep, his right bicep, and Mario Rashomon.
Hey, I'll take
Mario Rashomon. Hey, all right. Mario Rashomond's on. It's Tucker and
His
Mario.
right bicep, his left bicep.
and tomorrow.
I think Derek Macon takes the 3rd spot.
Yeah.
I think he.
I
I
think
think
so.
Macon makes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like
he's
he's
a
always
sack
been
leader.
relevant. He's always been
He
relevant.
making it on.
He tied sack leader with Tucker, and then he almost did again this season. Put that away.
Who the hell's that?
Macon's making it.
I think
think
Macon
so.
is on there.
He's
And
he's
then
pretty
the
damn
next
good.
Next one's tough.
It really
got-
is.
Oscar Bowl or Kevin Gable? Who would you rather have?
Kevin Gable's a multi-time All-Pro. Oscar Bowl only made it once. Kevin Gable just had 8 sacks in the season to make his 2nd All-Pro.
How long has Kevin Gable been in the league?
Season 2.
Yeah, that's
He's been
long
around
enough.
just as long as Keanu Mallory. How is he compared to Mallory?
It's a good question. So,
Mallory has
in-
15 sacks total in his career.
that's not up.
Oh, it
Is
might
that
not be
updated?
updated for season 5.
Yeah, that's not updated.
Okay.
So, Gable is a 2-time All-Pro. Mallory's a 2-time All-Pro. It's a good debate. I think it's between those two.
Manders have a lot more defensive prowess, and he's still able to put up similar production numbers to
I don't
Gable.
think okay
With
for
Tucker
D, for
Borston.
D line that's not really a thing. I mean it matters, but the Corsairs defense is also elite.
I'm not discrediting the Corsairs defense either, but to share a spot next to Keanu Mallory and still be comparable. I mean, obviously Tucker takes a lot of the spotlight, but I mean, like that's crazy.
Let's go season for season. Keanu Mallory, 8 sacks as a rookie. Kevin Gable, 6 sacks and a forced fumble. Both made All-Pro. Season 3. Season 3. We have Mallory, 7 sacks, made All-Pro. And Kevin Gable, fell off a cliff.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Kevin Gable had 1 sack. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Season
Really?
4. Okay. Season 4. We have Kevin Gable with 7 sacks, barely missed All-Pro. He's the first one off. He only missed it because Le'Veon Walker had a 4-sack game to end the season. And Keanu Mallory had 5. And then in season 5, we have Kevin Gable, 8 sacks, and Keanu Mallory had 4. So Kevin Gable outperformed Mallory in 3 of the 4 seasons. And the one season that he didn't outperform,
He had the worst
2
stinker.
seasons. They're 2 for 2.
Yeah. Kevin Gable, though, had a much lower low than Keanu Mallory did.
That's true.
It's a hard debate.
It's really hard.
Are we arguing 3 or 4?
4.
Macon. Never mind. Is Le'Veon 2? Season 2?
Le'Veon season 4?
He's
3?
He's 3, I think.
3. He's 3. I think he's 3.
I think
this is tough, man.
I mean,
I originally argued for Mallory at first, but I don't know. I see Gable's future. I just see Gable having a slightly brighter future than Keanu. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I just see it. I'm gonna have to flip flop my. Yeah.
It's not about the future right now. It's about the first 5 seasons.
Well, he's had a better last couple.
Keanu was Mallory was better to start. Gable's been better on the back half. Correct?
Well, Gable's been better. Has been good throughout, except for one season, because he also made All-Pros a rookie,
right?
And then just made All-Pro and had the one bad season in the middle. But then the other season he missed it. He was the first guy off with 7 sacks.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put my opinion in just because I'm not gonna be able to be unbiased.
Your opinion mentioned.
Opinion mentioned.
Right. Tristan, you're the vote breaker.
I almost want to give it to Mallory just because of his dominance along with Tucker Borson, just because he does kind of have to compete for those sacks with Tucker, and he's still putting up like close to numbers.
Let's give it to Mallory. Mallory, I believe. No, he went to San Antonio State. Keanu Mallory, Derek Macon, Tucker Borston, Demario Rashavan.
It's a good list.
Into the linebackers. I think this one's
two
really
Manders. It's 2 Manders.
I think best of all time. That's number 1 right there.
Who is?
Give us your legit list. Let's see how it compares.
Mine?
Yeah, your top 4 linebackers.
Man, I should prepare a bit more.
Right, Tristan.
Just going off. Oh,
go ahead, Mackay.
You look for a minute.
Okay, just going off memory. I don't have a here. This is what I'm looking at. I don't really have a wall. So just going off just what I'm thinking. All time, I think Deklov is number 1. He's just always been
for sure.
Number two, I think I might throw Russie up there. Honestly, I think Russie's number 2. I think easily. I mean, not sack machine. Well, he does sack. But the amount of tackles that man puts up, he is not going to have a functioning brain by the time he's 35. The guy's
year he had 30.
Collided.
That's insane.
Um, Number 3.
I've got one in mind. He's an original player. Just
I'm all
won.
for it.
Just
I
won.
think it's the easiest one.
Oh,
Just won DOP or DPOY. Season 4.
Tyrese Coffin. Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
I
Right?
have Coffin on mine for sure.
I don't know if it's
Coffin
because
has a
I'm really
very
Rhino.
easy 4.
Fan. I don't know if it's Rhino's bias, but I think Tyrese had like the quietest defensive player of the year campaign ever. I
He
mean,
did.
Maybe.
it's Rhino. It's
I think you're correct.
like I mean, when
He
I
still
was
did.
looking through the awards, or it might have been there for the announcements or something. I heard defensive player of the year Tyrese Coffin. Was like, oh God, I forgot that guy. Yeah, yep, that's the player.
But when you look at like his season compared to everyone else's in season 4, he absolutely like deserved it.
I'm not discrediting it. I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
I think that really says more about the Griffins publicity and how well they remembered or lack thereof. I mean, I can the 3 Griffins I can name: Tanner Beauplan,
Not there
Conan
anymore.
McCall, and Tyrese Coffin, and those are the 3 I can name off the top of my head, and those are the only 3 I can name right now.
Linebackers, your number 4. It has to be Jeremiah Conlon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've
Jeremiah-
gone this far without saying his
I
name.
think it's the easiest it's the easiest one to do. It's Russie, Dekalov, Coffin, and Conalog. It's
Yeah.
just it's
You
that's
put
it.
Rusty-
That's the linebacker Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I think simple as that.
I think I forget about
No
Conalock just
qualms,
because
we'll
I
keep
forget
moving.
about Conalock just because I forget about the Lancers roster personally.
Mhm.
I think it's just because I don't see Ty interacting as much, and so I don't look at their page as often as some of the
Ty.
other ones.
Has
Exactly.
Ty ever scored?
He has not much, but that's just why I kind of forget about Lancers. But Conalock definitely deserves to be up there for.
Yes, Brett.
Lancers have a manager.
No.
Wow. All right. Moving forward. DBs. Ricard Reese, King Salazar.
Yeah.
Both towers, they're on there.
Yeah.
The Lewis
From that,
Salazar's had the
Lewis Dather isn't there yet. He has one.
The Lewis
All-Pro.
dad 3, and then Brutus Beckham number 4.
I would
Ross
argue. Oh, okay, we actually have a tough debate.
Marvin
So
Smith.
King Salazar, Ricard Reese, and then between Marvin Smith, Ross Blunt, and Lamar Humphrey.
I was gonna say Lamar through 4 seasons technically leads the league with interceptions. I don't know how many he got this past season, but I don't think he falls
He had a
off the
lot. He had
list.
like 9. He had
Okay.
like 9. He should.
I think
still
he
be.
might still lead the league then in interceptions in a career. I think Lamar Humphrey has to be on that mountain.
I think it's yeah. He had one Defensive Player of the Year season 2. Lamar Humphrey. So Lamar Humphrey, Ricard Reese, King Salazar, and then Marvin Smith or Ross Blunt.
I think Marvin Smith is definitely
Rob-
quieter compared to
Marvin Smith has more All Pros. I know that.
He's also got
But I
more
think-
interceptions.
and he has a Super Bowl MVP.
That's true.
I
Marvin
think
Smith.
that puts him up just right away.
He had,
Super
what,
Bowl
3 in the
MVP
Super Bowl?
as a DB. He had 3 picks in the Super Bowl. Marvin Smith is your 4th DB on the Mount
And
Rushmore. Ross
that
Blunt is
won't
a
go up on
very
his
close
path.
5th.
I disagree.
Ross Blunt's a close 5th.
As much as I love Ross Blunt, the Super Bowl MVP really, I think, seals it for Marvin Smith.
Absolutely perfect tiebreaker if it was a tie. For sure.
Yes, I know Ross has a sack.
Ross Blunt has a cool
The
game
first,
as well.
yeah.
That's up there,
Ross
Super
Blunt,
Bowl
I love
MVP
Ross.
or 1 sack.
Scotty Dorn.
They're even. Get Scotty Dorn out of
Get
here.
Scotty out of here. I have a personal vendetta against Scotty.
I know you do.
I love him.
All right,
but
so yeah, I think
stop.
that's some good. That's some good Mount Rushmores. I rock with that.
But what about kickers?
We don't need to talk about kickers. Jake Crown, Bunter Paul, Julian Shrew, Gerald Sim. Bang. All right, move on.
Is Icy Fist up there yet? I'd say so.
He hasn't
Raise your
made
hand.
All-Pro. I named the 4 All-Pro kickers. That's it. All right, what's our runtime at right now?
55.
Not bad. Okay. Let's move on to our next segment. I would like to move into this next season, this upcoming draft. I want to talk about the biggest needs for each team going into the season 6,
I'm excited about this.
the season 6 draft.
This is the
So
segment's
I
going
want
to
to
be
go by
rewatched the
division.
most.
Yeah, for sure. So see what see if our takes age well. But I just want us to go division by division, team point out what we think. We'll go one at a time, each talk about what we think the biggest needs for these teams are. Glaciers. And looking at this Glaciers team, they had a very underwhelming season. Ike Michaels, it looked like they really needed quarterback. Archie Regis, that they traded for, did not perform well. They benched him for Ike Michaels, who actually played really well for the last stretch of the season and could be their starter at least for another season. They're not going to get a top quarterback because they don't draft high enough. And I would say, looking at this team, they've got all pros on the D line, 3 of them. They have Ivan Dekolov. I would say DB or wide receiver would be my biggest needs for the Glaciers.
Yeah, I agree
think-
with that.
I think while quarterback is going to be a long-term issue, Ike Michaels is definitely that bridge quarterback that's going to hold them over until they can address that issue correctly.
Okay.
I mean, I think so. As the Rhinos GM, I mean, culture is a big aspect of the locker room over here. I mean, I don't want to say it single-handedly determines games for us, but it's a giant factor. And DB might be the on paper the correct choice, and I think a lot of analysts would agree that's the best choice for them to go. But oh my God, new Ushup. I don't know anybody besides maybe the Jackals right now. I do not know a single player that would want to voluntarily go to new Ushup. I mean, I think they should draft some sort of explosive playmaker. I think wide receiver is the choice here just to get the Glaciers back on prime time and like get people to watch the games again. Because you can win the North, very low possibility, but you can win the North, but nobody's going to root for you. And you're going to lose in the first round, and all of a sudden you have a bottom first round pick, and then you just repeat the cycle all over again.
I think the defense is performing well enough that it's not the main issue right now.
No. Make your team exciting.
They could get another weapon for Ike Michaels to throw to or whoever they have. They have Marshall Cunningham as their 1 right now, who's okay. Not really who you want as your 1. And then Thandell Clarkson, who is aging and kind of washed, as their 2. And
I'll
then,
take him back.
Rookie last season, Aaron Carter in the 3, who is not that good.
I would
So they
say
definitely
Vance
could
is
use another
almost
weapon
one.
there.
I'd say almost Vance is their 1 just from how he's utilized. Like, complete
yeah,
pure
as
receiving
a
tight end.
target,
like,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, as a target, he's probably their 1.
I
but
think-
as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I think Magnus was definitely a good start last season. He was kind of lower in the draft class, but Magnus showed up and was pretty sweet on that Glaciers defense, putting up quite a few
Magnus was
interceptions.
very good. as a
So
rookie.
I wanted Magnus. Honestly, I was talking with Aiden during the draft just because he was so new with the league, and he drafted Magnus a few picks before me, and I immediately texted him saying, "Dang it, man, that's the guy I wanted." and
Story of your life.
and yeah, right, story of my fucking life. But yeah, Magnus was really good. I think they need to address some offensive production, but I think
I think we all.
I think they, yeah, I think they can definitely turn it around. I think they're just a few key spots from turning this team back up. I think it starts with re-signing their players. But
He's actually just made their contract offers.
fantastic, good for him, awesome, love it. So yeah,
I think they have an easier rebuild compared to a lot of the teams.
agreed.
Not that hard.
Yes,
They
they have the most
pieces in place with
yeah.
players like Ray Bold
Yep.
Yeah,
and 3 all
For
pros. on the
$50 million,
D-line.
I'd go to
Some of the more most forgettable all pros you'll ever see. They do have 3 all pros on that D line.
And could I name
let's
any of
move
them?
forward.
Nope.
Ryan Craig, Donnie
Ryan
Extra,
Craig.
and Michael Stone.
Ronnie Craig.
But let's move forward to the Emperors. So looking at this roster, you know, it looks like they're set at quarterback. They're set at tight end.
Yeah.
They're set at linebacker. They have a pair of all-pro linebackers, and they just drafted D-line in the first round. I would say with the struggling, oh man, it's really tough.
I've
I
got
think they need
2
more
spots.
offense. With
Yeah.
struggling, they've had the worst running backs in the league with Duke Tandem and Manny Riddick. Prince Sorpian's decent, but I think they could really use another like a good running back and a wide receiver beyond Russell Boone's that can actually be a weapon for Kaiser Otten is what I would do if I was the Emperor's manager.
That's not actually where I was thinking. I was thinking running back in DB, but I think that definitely does. I think that's also a very legitimate way to go with their attempted push. I mean, the Emperors for the North were pretty good. They finished second in the North, and only really falling off in point differential after a few really bad games. Like it just took 2 and it broke their bank, but they still were decent and were very much before the Sabres popped their head back up. The Emperors were very much winning that division, so. I think they're pretty close to making a playoff push.
I think they just need a little bit of luck, something they have
Not
had
had.
absolutely up until this point. So,
A
They're.
lot of it's been bad decision making more so than bad luck.
I mean, when
True.
their round 1 pick doesn't even make it to the training facility for the season.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
bad. I was thinking Glaciers for some reason.
that
So,
one.
oh yeah,
the Emperors have terrible luck. The Emperors have
The
terrible luck.
Emperors have
The Glaciers make
terrible
sense.
luck.
My mind just
I'm hoping the Glaciers
malfunctioned.
turn it around with under new management. But Emperors, I think
I hope they don't.
the Emperors just need a string of good luck instead. The karma just needs to kick in.
Yeah, he's banked up enough of the.
He's banged up
bad
enough.
crap, so.
He's due. He's finally due.
He's overdue.
His loan. I'm freezing.
Slow depoy coming.
His loan. I'm freezing. All right, let's move forward.
My prediction: if the Sabres don't win the North again, I think the Emperors win it.
Yeah.
It's not a
I
bad
see.
take.
I can see Wes Bowen single-handedly carrying, them to a playoff.
You get a run game all of a sudden established and take some pressure off of West Bowen. All of a sudden, play action becomes so deadly.
So
Right.
All right.
on to who's next?
Onto
The
the
Direwolves.
Direwolves. The Direwolves. So this is another team that I would say main priority. You need more offensive weapons for
It's so
Martin Doria.
yeah. He's so
They have Oscar
good.
Bowl.
The wide receiving core is pretty rotten beyond Quan Recco, who they just drafted. Scott Sears and Austin Denmark. That's pretty brutal. I would take a wide receiver. You could also use help at running back. They did just trade for Tanner Beauplan, which
I don't
we'll
like
see how
it.
that turns out.
I
Chris
don't.
Butcher has regressed. And then I would say wide receiver is just absolutely the number one need.
He did get
This
more
They
entire-
have
picks.
Oscar Bowl on the D line.
Yeah.
What? Minus the Sabres, I'd say, and obviously like every team can use more wide receivers. That's never a bad thing to draft. But this entire division needs some wide receiving talent. Like you can't just hand the rock. It's cold up there, man. Like you're running back tired. Like come on, like air it out, please.
It's like Big Ten football up in the north, honestly. It's checkdowns to tight ends and running back smash, and it's just who can take the punishment over time.
Full House 40 trap.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember
The
at
thing
the
is, a lot of
beach?
them don't even have good running backs though either.
No, I really didn't like the Tanner Beauplan trade. I mean, he got more picks out of it, but I was
think
not a
he's a
fan for I think Tanner's like I don't want to say Tanner's washed, but I don't think he's in his prime.
He did have a good stretch to end the season, but
He did.
we'll see.
We'll
Year
see.
6.
Direwolves got to shift their focus off the social media aspects of the game and the locker. What's going on?
Yeah, I think
So
they
wide
absolutely.
receiver?
Yeah, I think they need a pass catcher. They've gotten Martin
For
Doria,
sure.
who's kind of like the next Randall Corlin, and he's just but with a better arm, frankly. But he just hasn't been able to show it because he doesn't have a guy to throw to.
We'll find out.
Eric
Next.
Clapton.
Move on to the Sabres, which we have
I
some
think they just need
experts
a new
here.
everything, like a new manager, new.
I agree on that.
Kicked out of the league after 2 seasons.
No, I think you're sitting in a good spot. So
I think that the Sabres for sure need to add some defensive help. Their offense is pretty fantastic. I think they could use another DB to fill in the gaps left by the aging veterans they have there. And maybe a second linebacker behind Lance Deacon is
Yeah.
what I would go for.
Lance is kind of doing it by himself right now. I love Marcel. He was here with Lance, and they've got the duo picture, and it breaks my heart to take him off the line, but I think he's got to be the first one out. And hopefully Lance and Webster can command some veterancy and then maybe get a new guy in there. And the DBs, they started really hot when they came in season 3 when the Sabres first started, and they've just been on the decline since. And it's a really weird room right now. Morty Faye's in here now from the Salamanders, but I think we gotta address some pass deflection. I love my D line though. Slowly rebuilt that over 2 seasons. Pretty much all of them are putting up 3 to 4 sacks in a season. Almost all of them having around 40 tackles. Carlo Dalton, the later round or second round pick, just made the all rookie team. So very excited for him. So hoping to see some development out of Carlo and Sven, and yeah,
DB or linebacker.
yeah. I need defense.
QB.
DB, LB.
Moving
QB.
forward. Can we take like a 5-minute break so I can get some more water?
Sure.
No.
I'm gonna urinate.
Most
Yeah,
podcasts do that.
I'll just
They take,
pause.
like, a 5
I'm just
minute.
gonna pause the record.
Right. All right, we're back from break. Let's get back into ranking the top needs of every draft or every team in this upcoming draft. Moving on to the East Division, we have the Salamanders with Brady here. If you want to talk about what your biggest needs are going into this draft, in your opinion.
No, as we were kind of talking about earlier with the wide receiver Mount Rushmores, Soren Kelsey is no longer with the Salamanders, which leaves a hole at that position, but I would not call that a need
Yeah,
whatsoever.
wide receiver 3 behind the best duo in the league.
Yeah, because we have Dez, rookie sensation, and then we also have Devontae Hodgins, who led the league in receiving this year, which is awesome. Love him. So I wouldn't call that a need. You can plug anybody in there, and that'll be fine. But other than that, the 2 other open spots as of right now are defensive back and defensive line. But defensive line, we have Tucker Borston, Keanu Mallory, and George Blythe, who had a pretty
Underrated.
good. He didn't do that great in the regular season, but in the playoffs, I think he had like 3 sacks or so.
I
Yeah.
remember him tearing up my team.
He had a 2-sack game against you, I believe.
Something like that. It was dumb. I hated that one.
Defensive back, Ricky Debenham, let him test free agency, hoping he'll come back. And the defensive back room actually didn't really play that great this season. Marvin Smith being the best one as per usual, but everyone else kind of had a down year. So I think honestly, right now, my biggest issue is getting that DB room back to where it was.
Back to Swamp. I would say
I
it's
don't-
really there isn't holes on this roster.
There's not a weakness.
I think
Just
you
The
just
open
best
spot.
need, just defensive, best player available. Get another D lineman or DB. I would say DB is probably the biggest one you'd want to
Mhm.
take, but like, it's a good roster. It's a
Yeah,
good
you
roster.
just,
I don't-
you just
there's-
need to
there's
make
no
it
weaknesses.
eligible. There's no weakness. You just need to make it eligible. So like, you just gotta plug on in like one more offensive guy like anywhere. Honestly, wide receiver or tight end. Likely wide receiver, and then just fill the defense with.
I'm not
Probably.
touching my tight end.
I didn't say take him out. I said add a new guy.
I love those boys.
I know you do, and maybe you could get
Creed
another
Spear,
one.
baby.
Dude, I love the construction duo. There was another. I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember there was another guy. I think he was a
Will
D
Paver.
lineman. Will
Paver.
Paver.
And I was trying to
get the construction
draft him.
crew. Yeah, we tried getting that. That was been so
Yeah, but
beautiful.
they're on different sides of the ball, so it makes sense.
It's still the same names though. You could get like a picture of them all like on the sideline, like during a halftime or something. That would have been funny.
Ranking each other up.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyways,
Let's
what's
move
next? Leopards.
Yes.
the Leopards. The Leopards.
Kind of an interesting
What?
team.
Did you say wide receiver?
Another one will.
They have the best receiving core in the league. They actually have a pretty solid offense. There's no holes there. I would say defensively, they need another linebacker. I would say that's the biggest need, but they also could really use another D lineman behind Curtis Rhymes. It is definitely a weak depth point there, and that's their biggest like setback in holding them from being playoff contenders.
I will say
Yeah.
it's interesting. I think they're one of the few teams that uses a 4D line, 4 linebacker setup instead of using 4 DB.
4-4-3.
Almost every other team that I see has 4 in the back. Either
You're very
3-4-4 or 4-3-4. So they're definitely unique in that aspect.
I don't like
Yeah,
it.
'cause the DB market's so oversaturated with talent. There's so many good DBs that everybody's just trying to load up on them. But yeah, the Leopards have 3 solid ones, and then loading up
I
an
like
DeAndre White.
Yeah, I would say linebacker. They need another linebacker. They need a stud there. They need another
Bolster
stud D
defense.
lineman.
I think
They
take best
they need
defensive player
some
there.
defensive help. They just drafted Taekwon Trench last season, who I think can be a solid depth piece. I think that they're much weaker in the linebacker department behind, Ezekiel Ramon's their number one, and that's, fine, but like
Yeah.
Could
you
be
can do
better. Next.
Let's move on to the Griffins.
Oh, what don't they need?
Griffins.
Linebacker.
Yeah, true.
They do
They
not
don't
need linebacker. They do not need linebacker.
Ben loves
Well, I-
linebackers. The Griffins
I will
love
say,
making
I
big
think-
linebackers, but they don't need more.
I think one thing that they need is an actual good running back. However, because of the investment that they put into Kenneth Adler,
Kenneth Adler.
because of that stupid trade, which was a severe overpay for someone that hadn't shown,
One of the worst ever.
it was
JFL
horrible. But because of the investment that they put into him, I don't feel like they can move on from him just yet, because they just can't.
Trey Lance.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think they have to give him at least one more season, but like if he doesn't produce, he was traded right at close to the trade deadline that was just implemented in season 5. I think they got to give him season 6, but like if he doesn't pan out, like they've got to cut losses and go and get a running back in season 7.
I was gonna say, I think they could use a little more offensive power.
They could use a replacement tight end. Hunter Salo's aging and washed. Von Berger's not it.
Yeah.
Behind Daquan Welch at receiver, they have a lot of hot garbage.
Yep.
Daquan Welch did just make his first All-Pro there, so that's a big positive. But they do need another offensive weapon very badly, and I would say that's definitely the biggest need is a tight end or a wide receiver or a running back. But we're not going to count that because Kenneth Adler.
I wonder if
Defense
that's
could be
almost. I wonder if that's almost why Conan hasn't been as good as EJ. Maybe he just hasn't had
Very, very
as
possible.
good of a team around him on that side of the ball.
He's had garbage.
He's had one guy, and that one guy he's not a superstar. He made All Pro, but I think he made All Pro purely because the other guys are even worse options.
He did have Devin Pacer last season.
He did,
as well.
and then he gave him back to the Kingfishers, and we know where that got the Kingfishers to the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
All right, next.
Next, we're going to talk about the Sentries. So they're an expansion team, obviously. So this will be their second ever draft. And I actually think they're pretty okay offensively. I think defense, they really need some focus. Like, there is not a single player on this defense that,
It's
should
irreplaceable.
be there very long. Like,
No.
Yeah, do they have Arden Babylon, or
This
is
is
that
a
the Tyrants?
that's
someone else.
he's been traded around a couple times in the
Yeah.
past week, so I don't know
I
exactly.
can't name all the
But the Sentries desperately need some defensive help
Yeah.
somewhere. I think they're probably. God, it doesn't matter. Just draft a defensive player.
Yeah,
Best
draft.
defense player available
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, do that first 3 rounds almost. Like, I think Dale Ricky does need a bit more help, but like with Rayshon Calipari being the
Laquan Dashill's
lifeblood
good.
of this team for the entire season, I think you can kind of hang on to him for one more round season. Just draft defense and then address the receiving core in either really late or in season 7.
I agree.
Next.
All right, let's
Into the
move on to
Central.
the Rhinos. The Rhinos, I think, is pretty obvious here. They have good all pros pretty much at every position, except maybe tight end. They need a DB behind Ross Blunt.
All right, Makai, what do you think?
Yep, I agree. I mean, I know this team the best. I, obviously I know this team the best. I mean, we've given up more points than we should have. You know, probably in the secondary. Ross is a dog, and honestly, if he could, he would cover both sides of the field at the exact same time, but he just can't. I mean, no human can. If anybody could, Ross would be the closest. But yeah, DB is definitely priority number one. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And then obvious, like any uh Rallis Rhino member would take a quick peek at our running game too. It was very nice to have Double D back there commanding the field, but instead of making a big 1-2 punch with a throw then a run, it was not that, and so it might be an overreaction. But look at the third, maybe even top of the fourth round. Look at a running back, a rookie running back
I
come
was gonna
in.
say, do you have a backup running back?
I don't. It's currently
Love
just
it.
Galvin and others, but not a first or second rounder. I mean, I don't think it's that big. Again, it might be an overreaction, but I mean, they might be. Nobody should be set on their roster spot. You could be the best of the best. You can be Wes Bowen, but I mean, if you get complacent on where you're at and like I got this spot on lock. I don't need to try as much. That's not good for your football team. So DB, running back, and then one more which is a bigger priority than running back, right behind DB, would be wide receiver. So Drew Pinion, obviously a superstar, probably what, in my opinion, one of the most underrated guys in the league, at least wide receiver wise. Me and John were talking about that earlier, I think yesterday. But yeah, he's great. He's phenomenal. And then obviously we traded for Roydon Sharp as well too from the Salamanders,
After
which is.
an unfortunate circumstance.
And after we lost Cam and George Cone to a freak accident or freak injury, I think with Cam, the Rhinos might make it better farther. Who knows? I mean, that's all hypothetical. But I think one more playmaker on that, uh, trying to catch Draymond's passes would be a phenomenal compliment. I don't think we're going to target tight end because, I mean, Rhinos just don't. I love Craig Maleg, don't get me wrong, but we just don't have the luck when it comes to drafting home run picks and tight ends. So I decided to leave that alone for a season. But yeah, that's it. Goes DB, wide receiver, running back.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd agree.
Let's go on to the Towers. I think that
I think this one's
This isn't
they
pretty
definitely
easy.
need a running back. They
Yeah.
need
Need
a
a
running
running
back so
They
bad.
they
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 also
have
need a
got
tight end.
they've got 2 first round pick running backs on their roster right now, and neither have been good. But also, I feel like they drafted one of them, they traded for another, and I've been hearing rumors that they're gonna go for another running back in the first round this year again.
I'm hearing rumors that they're going to go for 2 in the first round. Both their first round
Oh.
picks. They're going to try to get Phenom and Deegan Amuka.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
is a
attack weakness.
Dude,
I mean, I think
I really liked Thurman Jiesman as a tower. I really like that idea. I think that's perfect. That's what they need. Thurman Jiesman fits them.
And then
But
they traded
they
out of it.
screwed that up.
because of the crap that the towers tend to
Wow.
produce.
They got
They-
like 60 bajillion picks for the 5th overall.
They I think the problem with the Towers is they cannot be complacent with where they are currently sitting at and build off of their
Capital.
own capital, right? They want to continuously be building capital almost to their detriment where they had the number 5 pick. They could easily get the top running back class.
They have their choice of a running back
They
at
do.
that spot.
They do. And it's pretty obvious that they're going to get it unless we talk about the Pat Ross incident at some point tonight, which most JFL managers are highly invested in. But because of that, I still think with all the news we've gotten and the investigation that's ongoing, I think enough in the air has cleared that they still would have their pick of a running back at 5. I don't know why they traded down. And at this point, I think someone else is going to go get Jiesman for sure before
the
it
draft
falls to them.
The draft is for football. It's for managing. You're managing a team. You're not managing a stock market. You're not trying to accrue as many picks as you possibly can. Towers need to stop worrying about the amount of picks they have and start
And more
worrying
so,
about
people
where
need to stop giving in to bad deals.
that is
But that's
true
a
as
topic.
well.
That's
Other
a topic
people
for
are-
another day. Let's keep moving along.
Yeah.
I think they need a running back. They also need a tight end. They've been through a revolving door of terrible tight ends. Their defense is good. They need to address those spots. Let's move on to the Kingfishers. What do the Kingfishers need?
I don't think they really need much, to be honest.
It's
They have a
weird,
lot.
too.
They're really
Made the
like they're a
playoffs,
very complete team. They have solid players at every position. Like they have the depth everywhere. They just
think
don't lack superstars. They don't have
Yeah.
any stars. They don't have all
I think you
pros.
take best player available.
Best
Yeah.
player available, upgrade out of position,
Straight
get
up.
a franchise-defining star to take you to the next level.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
put
that's
it on defense over offense more likely.
I don't know.
Actually,
I
no,
think they
no.
could use
Sorry, I take
talent
that back.
Agreed.
I'm looking at my stat sheet from the season for points and defense and whatnot. I take that back. I think they should address offense. I don't think their running backs are really getting it done. I think Devin Pacer's great. I think Ronnie Wiley is great. I think they. I don't want to say they take running back just because it might be depleted by the time it gets to them, but I do think.
Draft
Usually they
another
just trade away their first-round picks. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a big culture change and if you want your team to experience change at all, an explosive playmaker on the offensive side of the ball is the way to do it. I mean, JFL is different than other sports leagues, you know. I say if you want to change your chemical makeup instantly, you draft offense and offensive explosion. And if you want to improve your like baseline and like how reliably you can win games on top of your offense, you draft defense, and they're pretty safe and sound, so they need to take another step up and draft an offensive playmaker, best player available on offense.
right. Moving on to the Hoplites.
Whew.
Hoplites need a wide receiver. Period. Moving on. They have the worst receiver core ever.
Yeah.
Time All is literally beefing with his receiver core because they're so bad. They need a receiver. Period.
Yeah.
Up to the Paladins. What do the Paladins need? I think this is
So,
a
this is
pretty
another
easy one as
part.
well.
Yeah.
Behind Garrett Breida, they're very, very weak at receiver.
That's true.
Kamani Branch and Jaron Caesar suck. Cam Crutter hasn't been good since his rookie season. They need a receiver behind Breida to really, elevate that passing game like we talked
Yeah.
about earlier.
And give Corlin some more options other than Burrito or Scramble.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that
simple.
fits.
Moving on to the Sharks. The
They just need to
Sharks
lock
offense
in.
is
To lock
pretty
in.
They need
excellent.
to lock.
They need DBs. They have Justin Salas, who's a stud, but then behind him they have 3 rookies who are all late picks and are all awful. Edrin Urban, Zamir Gardner, Cali Tony. They need to put a guy there that can actually play. Ollie Randall is in that room, but he's injured badly, and he will be out for like the first half of the season.
He's out
So they
until
do need to
after
get
the trade
someone there.
deadline.
And who knows how he'll be when he comes back.
So
Damn.
yeah,
I did not realize it
and,
was that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
week 5 is when he comes back.
Yeah,
He's
it's
basically
bad. And
he's
he
out for
also-
a whole season.
He never really reached the expectations that everyone had for him while he was healthy. So they do need to draft another DB.
Yeah. And there's a chance that he's not going to reach it anymore because of that injury. Because some guys can bounce back, some can't. It's a coin flip.
For the Corsairs.
The Corsairs
The
need more
Corsairs-
capital. The Corsairs need more.
Quarterback.
Sorry. Let me rephrase. The Corsairs need a higher salary cap.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Hey.
Their
because
team is
they are
so
touching it.
complete.
They just had to trade away their
Um,
first round pick because they wouldn't have been able to afford the first round pick.
Yeah.
On
Then they
their
did
roster.
make trades.
That's
so no
that is
longer the
that is
case.
not a joke. We did the math.
They pretty much their team is pretty full. I think the only slot they can upgrade at right now is they have an open receiver slot because they just trade away Marty DeBerry and a defensive lineman spot instead of Sedarius Manley. But it's really, draft guys to develop on the practice squad at this point.
I
for the
think
Corsairs.
I think the Corsairs are one of the few like really complete teams that just need to fill the holes that they have on the team.
And hence their Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say on the Jupiter Bowl, they could probably take the season off and we can talk about what they need the next season.
Yeah.
Okay. Admirals,
Oh,
quarterback.
What don't they
Their
need?
quarterback room currently consists. They do need a lot, but their defense is pretty solid. Quinn Portable and Chase Graggs is their quarterback room right now, which is just rotten,
I think-
putrid, smelling heap of garbage.
The Towers
And
had
then
some
you
pretty bad
have-
ones. This might be the worst QB room we've seen.
Would you make
Besides
that?
like Quinn Portable and Hans Bagakin, which that's probably better.
Hans,
Receiving,
Like-
they could use another receiver. They have Hez Watkins, who should be good when it's given a quarterback. But behind him, they have James Towning and John Badunce.
oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Ooh.
How many? I don't think they have the picks to make it all happen in one go. But honestly, with this type of guys they've got right now, Remy Collins, James Towning, John Badunce, I say let those guys walk and get some other free agents instead. Like
Do somebody else.
Someone
These are like
else.
the worst receivers we've
Anyone
ever
else.
seen. Ever. Every
We've-
single available receiver right now on practice squads and free agency is better than those two guys.
We have seen some expansion teams with, like, some people might joke, like, this is like gunk left over from other teams' practice squads. This is literal gunk
This
shoved into a professional football team and thrown out to compete against the Paladins, Corsairs, Salamanders.
these guys were
Yeah,
on
they're
their
in the
way.
division with the Corsairs, Paladins, and Sharks.
This-
That's the division they're in.
Admirals absolutely have got the shortest stick of the Season 5 expansion teams with the division they were placed into, 100%. These guys were taken out of the retirement van, heading to the retirement home, and pulled back screaming and kicking to the field again.
John Badunce especially, dude. Three-time worst player of the year. He won 2 of them and then was basically out of the league. And then he said he got one more in him.
I got one. Go.
All right, let's
Let me
move
play
on.
with the Admirals.
To the south, the Lancers. The Lancers' biggest
Need an
need is
Is a manager.
to have a active manager, exactly. But
If they don't
beyond
get
that,
in gear soon, they're going to have some real key pieces walk in free agency, and they will be worse than the Admirals.
They won't be able to recover if they don't get stuff sorted out. They just won't.
Yeah.
this is yet another team I say needs a wide receiver as their biggest priority. They let Denzel Mason walk, and that turned out to be a catastrophic decision. Travion Mason
Week
regressed.
1, it was catastrophic.
Week 1, he came and bit them. Beyond Travion Mason, who's still serviceable, he's still fine. He's just not as good as he used to be. Borderline All-Pro. He has Braden Shadug, Jerussell Onadell, and Casey Mulch, which I actually really like Casey Mulch as developing into year 2.
Mulch.
but they need another pass catcher there or something. I think that's easily just the option for them, but they really could go in a lot of directions just to make the team better. I think they're a really good team if they just have someone bringing it together.
They're kind of in cap trouble as well, though. They're at 67, and they've got
They are.
like 5, 6. They've got so many guys pending right now that like you almost need to go to Ernie and like say like, man, I know you just like won like some big accolades, but like I need you to come off of that 14 mil contract. Like he's gotta make space. Ernie Gecko, the highest paid player in the league as a running back.
Yes,
And
Ty was a little money pay heavy when he did his first wave of contracts.
yeah.
You know who would make this team more relevant? Garrett Breida, the guy they
Borston.
Traded away.
or
Morty
Morty
Fay.
Fay,
into
or
or
Denzel
Tucker
Mason.
Borston or Morty Fay or maybe any of the guys that he let walk or just trade away for a bag of chips and a peanut.
He just threw away a Hall of Fame career, man. Ty, the original dominant team of the JFL, first 2 Super Bowls, won the second one. All he had to do was coast and be a mediocre team for like 3 more seasons, and then he could quit and he'd make the Hall of Fame. But instead, he decided to implode his team, make the worst decisions ever, and rip his own gold jacket off and put it in the shredder.
Now I will
And
say
it's just
if he comes back and wins another Super Bowl after everything that has happened, I think that's
if
a
he
for
comes
sure
back,
Hall of Fame career.
yeah.
After essentially doing
If he
2
comes back,
rebuilds.
he needs to come back. He just needs to lock
George
in and
George
come back.
Foreman, his career, you know.
Yeah, right. George.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. But let's move on to the Jackals. Quarterback, they're taking Gordon
Quarterback.
Golden.
We all
They
know
also
it.
could use a linebacker because they only have 2 on the roster.
They could
That's
use some
good
D
enough.
line help. They could use some linebacker help.
The
They could
D
use
line
some
actually
DB
I
isn't
help.
like
that
They could
bad
use
compared
wide
to
receiver
their other.
help. They could
All right,
use some
chill
run
out. All right,
help.
chill out. All right, chill out.
I like
No,
their
they
D
can use
line
it.
actually right now. They just need one
They
more
can
No,
use
guy.
their
it.
D line.
They can use an upgrade at pretty much every position for
Yes,
at
but
least
their
one of the
biggest need is
players on that
quarterback and
roster.
linebacker.
But their biggest need is quarterback. Exactly.
I think
Like
they
that's
They're taking.
one thing
They're
they
getting
need.
Gordon Gold.
I think the only spot they don't need help is like wide receiver and tight end, which is kind of opposite of almost every other team in the league right now. They don't need offensive production other than the quarterback. The running backs maybe, but like they're gonna give it another year to look at and see how it goes. Onyx Portis and Heath Stafford is already a pretty legendary
Comes
receiving
to Alex,
duo.
that'd be good. They're gonna be fine.
Like they're fine. They get the quarterback with the overall pick. They either get Gordon or if like with the Pat Ross investigation, they instead go with Holland, who's probably a safer, more trustworthy guy just based in the investigation. Like either one is going to be able to get the job done and throw to these 2 studs. Like it's an easy pick for them.
Let's move on to the Cobras. For the Cobras, they just made the playoffs. They need some all-pro caliber talent. I say because they only have 2 on the roster, they need a D lineman as their biggest need, and maybe a linebacker. But I think the receiving core is fine. The running core is adequate. Like they're adequate in a lot of positions, but I think they're worst in D line.
I think the Cobras need to hold on to their picks and make some
Yes.
young blood picks instead of trading for the Island Misfit
Yes.
toys. I think they got away with
Trading
it.
for breadcrumbs from 10 years ago.
I think they got away with it with their first season because of just their schedule, but
Really easy schedule.
I think in the year 2, year 3, they're gonna get hit with either a mediocre 50-50 or maybe even go below 500 because a lot of these guys, some of them are good. Denzel Mason is probably the best player on this roster. Lee Flagg can definitely be good. Sammy Aker,
really
$6 million
like-
contract as a backup, but like
I really like Tellen Lancaster entering a second season too. He
I
was
do
their
like
best DB
Tellen.
as a
I
rookie.
do, yeah. But they need to hold on to more than 40% of their picks and make some picks.
They need to draft and build a core with that.
Yeah.
Last team moving on, we have the Tyrants.
Best guy available almost everywhere, I think.
Yeah, they need defensive
Everywhere.
help desperately. They could use a running back really bad. They could use defense anywhere. I think receiver, they're okay. They're fine for right now, and tight end, they're fine. But anywhere else you could argue, besides quarterback, receiver, and tight end, that you could argue is the biggest need.
I mean,
It's
they've got
just best
so
player
many.
available.
They've got so many picks, so
It's
they're
just
gonna
best
find.
player
They're gonna
available.
get. They're
It's
gonna
the
hit
tight
at least
end.
one stud probably in their draft class. I gotta say, they're gonna. They're gonna come out of this with something better. They're gonna get at least 3 wins next season. They're gonna go up, and then they're gonna maybe start making up, be competitive in this division in season 7. I think.
Yep.
All right, and that's the league. Kind of wrap it up there. If anybody has anything else they want to mention,
Rhinos mentioned.
Rhinos mentioned.
I think.
Fabulous first episode of Around the JFL.
Yeah, we're sitting at an hour
Tune in.
36.
Perfect. That's like perfect kind of range that we're gonna shoot for. I would do longer. I have some more segments I wanted to talk about, but I'm like roasting. It is so hot in my room, and I'm so uncomfortable.
Your jersey
in this
off,
position
Joe.
I am suffering.
Nipples.
Yeah.
I would like
But-
to call it here and go to
What were
sleep.
the other segments? I'm just curious.
I wanted to do draft projections, like maybe do like a little mini first round mock.
Mm.
And then like I wanted to talk about players that would be taking a year 2 leap, picking in their sophomore season, and
Seven,
project
double
division winners.
7.
But I think after the draft, we could do another episode and talk about year
Yes.
2 leaps, projected division winners.
Yeah.
'Cause we just have to sit and talk and just record it and
Yeah.
upload it. You don't have to
Maybe
do any
like-
editing and stuff.
Yeah, maybe like Sunday or something. We could do another one.
Yeah, anytime before the season starts.
Yeah.
We
Mm.
can do another around the JFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then instead of like draft prediction, we could just do like a really quick like, does this draft
Draft
make
review.
sense? A very draft
Yeah.
review, not a full in-depth analysis like we have in the past, but just like see like, do we agree with like taking this position here? Do we think we
Talk
someone
about crazy
reached?
stuff that happened
Yeah.
and like overall
Sure.
storylines.
I know I'm gonna do.
And I'll come up with
I'm
some
not gonna
more.
stop myself.
I'll come up with some more topics as well to fill the time.
I think that's a
No,
good.
I'm
Yeah, that was
start.
good.
Stupidly, but I'm gonna do it because I can.
All right.
Yeah, that was fun, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This feels like a
Yeah, you're
really cool thing to do some more often, and I feel like it could even be exciting if like every once in a while, or
We bring someone.
we bring another manager in from
We could
somewhere in the league
interview
who's
and
like,
talk
yeah,
and
get
stuff,
some
yeah.
interviews or something.
Hey, Ty's been here
Yeah.
the whole time.
What's also
Huh?
What also would be neat is that like people also can like listen to these to kind of get a better like feel of the league if they don't have that already.
Mm-hmm.
We could do a little trade literacy segment for the next one.
Ooh, I was
could.
actually I was brainstorming that in the car actually on the way to work today. I was like, it could be funny or it could be straight up informational. Like, okay, here's the value of a 1st through 5th round pick. Like, 1st are superstars, 2nd
Okay,
are
that's
great
something I
players.
need to talk about actually. So that's